Okay, replacing the U-joints and the front axle shafts of a Jeep Wrangler, Jeep TJ, so it's the D30 front axle. The axle shaft U-joints use internal, these C-clip style retaining clips. So when you look on here, step one in getting the old out is to knock out the old C-clips. I don't know if you can quite see those in there. You can sort of see the edge of that one. So you have to get in there with a punch or a chisel or the end of a flathead screwdriver and knock those out. They're actually not too bad once you can finally get a good angle on it. So that's what I'm going to work out first, and then we'll move on to pressing out the U-joint caps themselves. There's the first one. Second one. All right, I spun the axle shaft around so I could get a better angle on the next clips. These are a little bit more challenging because you've got this dust seal here. If you can't get a favorable angle on it, try rotating it 90 degrees. Sometimes that clip doesn't go in directly even. Sometimes it's pivoted just a little bit one way or the other. And so rotating it and trying to hit it from the other side sometimes gives you a better angle on it. There's the third one, and then this last one is being very difficult. There we go. And there's the fourth one. Okay, now it's time to press out the U-joint caps. I found that the ball joint press actually works out really well for this if you can hold it in your bench vise. So let's put a little pressure on it. Tell you what. There's one cap. And we'll drive it the other way to get the other side off. There we go. It left behind some of the needle bearings, but that's fine, we're not reusing that. There we go. Halfway done. And we'll repeat the process. Just make sure the bearing cap is lined up so that as you press it through, it doesn't end up hitting part of the ball joint press. Otherwise, you'll bind it. There's our fourth bearing cap. And voila, we have the old U-joint out. I'm going to clean this up a little bit, make sure these bearing cap surfaces in here are nice and clean. There's not rust or debris built up in there. Knock some of the rust off the surface of the yoke as well. So after that, we'll move on with pressing the new U-joint in. Okay, now it's time to press in our new U-joint. So I've got the bearing caps pulled off. As you do so, make sure that none of the needle bearings get displaced. If that happens, you'll have a bigger problem. So we'll take the U-joint, make sure you keep it clean. You don't want any grease or debris getting trapped in there. You should have already cleaned out and make sure there's no burrs or rust, debris build up in the yoke here. So press it in, you're watching for that groove that we talked about in the bearing cap. Hopefully you can see that groove to come through on the inside of the yoke just enough that you can get the snap ring in place. It's a good idea to take a punch, make sure this is fully seated. This side is not fully seated yet. I don't want to push this side in any further, so I'm going to release the pressure here. Take this press tool out. So now I've got just the open end, so I'm not pushing on this bearing cap anymore. Now it's time for the other side of the yoke. We will repeat the process. Again, keep an eye on the needle bearings and make sure none of them have fallen or moved. All right, I spun around so I could see a little better. We just need to finish pressing in the bearing cap on this side. There we go. So all the bearing caps pressed in, our C-clips in place, we are ready to roll.